What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar and welcome back to the WBE. This is going to be the week 9 team builder and we are going up against my good buddy GalacticElliot in the Chicago Cubchoos. If you guys do not know who GalacticElliot is, you guys are living under a freaking rock and you need to go subscribe to him on here and drop him a free Twitch Prime sub over on Twitch. Homeboy streams all the time, love him to death. Anyway, so Elliot and I have a little bit of a history, right? I think we played one other time and he 6-0'd me with an Agility Thunderous. So I don't really want to lose again. Unfortunately, Homeboy has a pretty good matchup. He has a really good matchup in my opinion. Scolipede destroys me. I think Scolipede is one of the best Pokemon that he can bring in this game. I also think a really bulky Garchomp has to come for a Fizdef Darmanitan, or for a Choice Scarf Darmanitan. He could also bring like a Fizdef Flashfire Chandelure, but that doesn't want to take Rock Slides, whereas Darmanitan, Garchomp can take anything that a Darmanitan wants to dish out at it. Z-Snatch Hoopa is one of the scariest Pokemon in the entire world, especially if he's Double Dance and he sets up on something like my Melodic that can't really two-shot it ever unless I'm banded, maybe. So he could bring like Z-Snatch, Nasty Plot plus Dark Pulse and literally any other coverage, and he could be able to break through my entire team very easily. So I'm actually really not comfortable with the matchup, and you'll be able to tell that from the build. However, I built a team that left me some options for the next round, and I also built a team because I do feel like I'll be playing him in playoffs. If I like, there's a good chance we'll both be making it in playoffs, meaning I want to keep some stuff on the sidelines for later games. So yeah, so I feel like I was able to keep some stuff off while still bringing some cool stuff and hopefully being able to do some work. So let's just go ahead and hop into this. Let me move this over here. Okay, so first off, we have Choice Scarfed Scyther, Jolly Max Speed, enough speed to outspeed Jolly Sandslash in the hail. I highly doubt he will ever bring Ice Shard on Sandslash. I say this because if he's in Slush, like if he's in the hail with Slush Rush activated, he will outspeed a +1 Zygarde anyway. There's no need for him to click Ice Shard when he can outspeed me and click Ice Punch or Icicle Crash. Ice Shard also has a really bad matchup versus everything else on my entire team, aside from really Superior, but Superior can pretty much just die to Icicle Crash or Ice Punch anyway, so I don't think Ice Shard is coming. So having this thing to be able to outspeed it in hail is very nice. I also outspeed max speed Alola Ninetales guaranteed, and I can one-shot it with Steel Wing. Even if he's max HP, it does 100% minimum, which is phenomenal. Versus everything else on his team, Aerial Ace is super spammable. Serena, Scolipede, Mantine, Hoopa, Girder, Garchomp, and Chandelure all do not want to take max attack technician boosted Aerial Aces. It's just not something that is in their agenda to take. So this Pokemon is going to be my designated lead if I see Alola Ninetales. If I see Alola Ninetales, I feel like it's going to be lead Veil, and that is what he will use to attempt to break down everything on my entire team. At least that's kind of what I'm expecting him to bring as a lead. So next up, we have the main breaker for the team. That is going to be my Sheer Force Life Orb Darmanitan. This Pokemon rips through literally everything on his entire team. His only switch into it is Chandelure if it's Fizdef, so if he gets a Flash Fire boost. After that, I can just click Rock Slide because I'm not locked into anything. This thing is doing 30%, 33% to max attack, no bulk invested Garchomp, meaning if he's an offensive variant, after I believe a U-turn plus a Steel Wing or an Aerial Ace or like 2 attacks from my Scyther, he will be in range of 2 Fire Punches from my Darmanitan. That is a big key benchmark that I wanted to hit, because if I have Scyther in against, say, the Alola Ninetales, his main switch into this thing really is only the Mantine or the Mega Garchomp. So if I'm able to get off 2 U-turns on it, I can just start spamming Fire Punches and hopefully break through my opponent's entire team. The only thing that this thing doesn't really break through very well is Girder, and that's because I'm lacking the Flare Blitz coverage, which sucks. However, I have dual psychic. I don't even really expect Girder to come this game because I do have dual psychic on this team. I can spam psychic versus him because both my psychic types do get signal beam, so it means that Hoopa can't come in and set up on me for free, and I could bring like Culverberry Mesprit and live a hit and click U-turn and be fine anyway. So I really don't expect Girder at all. I think it's a good Pokemon versus me, but it really struggles versus my dual psychics combined with my Scyther with Aerial Ace. So next up, we have what I want to clean this game. This Pokemon, I want it to be the cleaner because it outspeeds everything on his entire team aside from Scolipede and Scarfers. And Scolipede has a phenomenal matchup. However, it has a phenomenal matchup if I let it set up a Swords Dance. If I never let it set up a Swords Dance, it's a lot harder for this thing to sweep me. So I'm pretty much packing coverage on everything to be able to pressure it enough to never let it sweep me. As you can see, I have Fire Punch instead of Flare Blitz for recoil, I have Aerial Ace, I have Psychic, and my other 3 Pokemon also have coverage for it. So this thing has pretty much perfect coverage for his entire team outside of Chandelure. It has HP Ice, Psychic, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt. Don't have anything for Ninetales, Rotom, and Sandslash, but then I have Psychic and Signal Beam. And Ninetales and Rotom and Sandslash don't want to take Thunderbolts anyway. But basically this thing just punches a hole through his entire team. It can even clean late game depending on what he has left, and that is the main goal that I'm going to be going for this game, is to try to weaken everything with these first 2 to win with this. And then I have three Pokemon that are kind of just here because I couldn't really find anything else that I wanted to put on here without putting on my sets that I wanted to keep for a second game if I do have to play Elliot again. So next up, I have fully Fizzed F Milotic with Ice Beam Scald, Recover Toxic. Ice Beam Scald has really good coverage versus my opponent's team. Recover allows me to stay healthy, and Toxic just lets me toxic things like the Garchomp. Even the Girder with Guts I don't really care about because it'll get whittled down pretty easily and immediately put in range of a bunch of different things like my Scyther's Aerial Ace, my Zygarde's moves, my Alolan Raichu's moves, things like that. So Toxic, I don't even mind toxicing the Girder. It would be problematic, but it could still work. And Scald on Scolipede after Stealth Rocks 2-shots it, so that's really nice. I can't really do a whole lot to Serena, and I don't really want to stay in on Serena. However, I feel as though Serena is pretty much locked into attacking whatever's in front of it or clicking U-turn. Because of this, if it clicks U-turn, I can stay in and I can click Scald and Ice Beam. If it attacks what's in front of it, I can go into my Scyther and just tank up the Trop Kick or the Power Whip or whatever, and then just threaten it out and U-turn out and gain momentum that way. So I definitely think that this Pokemon still has a lot of it has a lot of value despite my opponent having really good offensive threats to it. Next up, we have Rockium Z Zygarde with Toxic, 1000 Arrows, and Extreme Speed. Extreme Speed is there just for Scolipede. If I'm able to prevent setup on it the way I want to, Extreme Speed will be really nice for picking it off. Toxic is there mainly for Garchomp and Mantine. His main 1000 Arrow switch-ins are going to be Garchomp and Mantine. I think Garchomp is extremely pressured this game. Garchomp is his main switch-in if it's a really fat one into Scyther, Darmanitan, and Zygarde. So I definitely think that it has to come, and I definitely think it has to be a bulkier set. That's just my personal opinion though. And this Pokemon just does a lot of work, and I have Rockium Z there. I wanted to bring Dragonium. However, I couldn't bring Dragonium to nuke Serena while also bringing a rock move to nuke Mantine. So I ended up bringing Rockium to nuke Mantine because I could see Mantine being a little bit more of an issue if I'm not smart, because I do have these two to just always pressure Serena, whereas Mantine, I have this with Rock Slide and this with Thunderbolt. Mantine can do whatever it wants to versus this. Without Rockium Z, it can pretty much do whatever it wants to versus this. So, and it can do whatever it wants to versus this. So I saw that I was a little bit under prepped for Mantine, and I threw on Rockium Z because I feel as though I can offensively handle Serena a little bit better. And then last but not least, we have a pretty interesting Mesprit set. So I have max HP with 84 special attack investment, allows me to always 2-shot Mantine after Stealth Rocks, unless it's like fully Spidef, but I don't think he can do that. So I have the 84 special attack investment. The 116 in defense means that Garchomp is never two-shotting me with Dragon Claw, or Stone Edge into Outrage, never two-shots me. And then the Spadef investment ensures that Timid Never Melt Ice Blizzard from Ninetales never two-shots me as well. I also live I live a Mega Horn from Scolipede with the Tangaberry, guaranteed at a pretty good amount of health, and I can just fire off a Psychic to prevent it from being able to click Mega Horn versus me, knock me out, and then if I have no other checks available, it can't set up on me anyway. So that is the beautiful part about Mesprit. And I also have U-Turn and Stealth Rocks there. Stealth Rocks hurt his team a lot, believe it or not. May not look like it, but a lot of his really core members to get his team going require good health. And so what I mean by that, certain teams, they need a little kickstart to start to wear through teams, break down teams, and things like that. I personally believe that Elliot's team is one of those. If you look at his Mons, he doesn't have any immediate, just straight up power outside of Hoopa Unbound, which is quad weak to Bug, which U-Turn is very, 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 very common. So everything else really likes having either Veil up or no hazards up to really get going. Sandslash, for example, loves having Veil up. Chandelure loves having no Stealth Rocks up plus Veil to be able to live a couple extra hits. Scolipede loves having Veil up so it can set up for free, things like that. So if I can pressure the Mantine and the Ninetales with Stealth Rocks, that would be absolutely phenomenal to put them both realistically in range of my Alolan Raichu, and that is going to be the goal of the entire team, just to whittle everything into range of either Choice Scarf Scyther, which would be preferred because Scyther's cool, or Alolan Raichu. This also could be a sweeper depending on what he brings, but that is going to be the team, guys. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like down below for me. Also, make sure you go check out my buddy GalacticElliot. His links will be down in the description below. Go drop him a Twitch Prime sub. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.